Now, as Simon, you said a little while ago, not often the teams make changes after they're announced, but there hasn't been a toss yet. So teams can get changed. The question is, if the center surface is still as it was, then if there is a chance that it could dry up as the game goes along, then two spinners come in. But Simon, the key thing from India's point of view is the two spin bowlers are not just spin bowlers, they also lengthen the batting. If India decide to go in with Siraj for one of the spinners, then I guess batting ends at number 7, really. So what would you do if you're in that situation? Play 4 seamers, or would you say 3 is good enough and play 2 spinners?
I think a lot of it, Harsha, depends on the time of the game, the time we actually get underway. If it is tomorrow, if it's first thing tomorrow morning, I would probably stick with the same side from an Indian point of view, because there's still a possibility of 5 full days of cricket, a couple of days of sunshine, and the spinners will definitely come into the game. They don't, I mean, the type of spinners, Jadeja and Ashwin, that don't necessarily need the surface to be assisting them a whole lot. Jadeja's arm ball skidding on brings the LBW into play, brings the outside edge of the left-handers into play. So they're skillful enough bowlers without having a surface that is ragging, square. But if the game is slightly shortened, and let's say we get part of tomorrow washed out as well, and we're not starting till 3 or 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, then the shortened nature of the game doesn't bring the spinners into play as much. And I think then I would possibly look at going for that extra seam bowler for the seaming conditions. Yes, you probably want to win the toss. You can't guarantee that. But I just think that maybe they could bring Mohammad Siraj into the side if the game didn't get underway or the toss didn't take place until later tomorrow afternoon.
What were New Zealand planning to do? Because it's a nice problem to have. You could pick any of 5 seamers plus Colin de Grandhomme, who just comes in, releases the ball and bowls 15 overs for 30 most days. Plus he adds to the batting. So what do you think New Zealand would have done? Because there's 4 of those who are good enough to get into most sides in the world, and the 5th was player of the match in the last Test match.
Yeah, I look, it was a really tough decision, and they're great decisions to have, I suppose. The hard ones when you have to leave guys out. If you're looking for guys to fill up the numbers, those are the decisions you don't want as a coach or as a captain. But from what I understand, New Zealand might have been looking to play Ajaz Patel, to play Colin de Grandhomme, and to play Tim Southee, Trent Boult, and Kyle Jamieson, and leave Neil Wagner out, which would have been an enormous call, but it was probably a call, given 5 days of decent weather, they had to make by virtue of Ajaz Patel bowling so well in Birmingham and needing a spinner, because the surface does, over the course, as we've seen, of 4 and 5 days, it does produce some turn. They're in the same boat now, though, I think, where they might not need that spinner if we don't get going till late Saturday afternoon, late on day 2, and we get a slightly shortened Test match with green conditions, slightly seam-friendly conditions. I think de Grandhomme becomes a big player then, and perhaps spin just goes out the window a little bit more, and you end up with your best 5 bowlers, guys who have done the job for you time and time again. Wagner, Boult, Southee, new kid on the block in Jamieson, and Colin de Grandhomme, just to dot up an end and maybe move the ball around a touch. I think if we are looking at a 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock start tomorrow, that's probably what New Zealand will do, end up with 5 seamers.